Here are 3 very different ways to explore the preserve. Lots of families picnic near the staging area and play in Marsh Creek. That's the easiest option. Or you might want to try the Hardy Canyon Loop, which takes you to the top of Round Valley's eastern ridge and then switchbacks down into the valley itself. You'll go up and down 750 feet in 5 miles, and the reward will be panoramic views from the Central Valley to the peak of Mount Diablo. Scott Hein's a big fan of this route.
To really appreciate Round Valley, you have to take this hike because you get up, you get elevation, and you get a sense of what it's all about, all the intersecting ridges and the beautiful valley with the sinuous creek running through the middle of it. And so even though it's a bit of a workout to get up there, it's well worth it and really shows off Round Valley well.
But there's also a lot to be said for the third option, the Valley Loop. It's up to 6 miles long, depending on how far you decide to venture into the valley, with an elevation gain of about 250 feet. Seth Adams admires this route's pacing, a modest 1.5 miles in the narrow creek corridor, opening up to a breathtaking outdoor amphitheater. From there, you can explore knolls and ridges in every direction, or longer regional trails into Los Vaqueros Watershed and Morgan Territory Regional Preserve.
If you had to design a preserve perfectly in order to best appreciate it, Round Valley would be the design, because during that period of walking up the canyon, you're gradually losing all of the urban concerns you brought with you. By the time you get to the valley, you're really ready for it. But then you get to the entrance to the valley and you think to yourself, is this really all it is? What's the big fuss about? Because you come into kind of an entryway to Round Valley. Go on a little farther, another set of ridges opens up, and suddenly you're in this huge, gorgeous, flat valley, big, giant valley oaks going all the way across it, turning out to be along the sinuous S-curves of Round Valley Creek, and with spur ridges descending into the valley from all directions. And then on the far side of the valley are the dark, heavily wooded and chaparral slopes of Morgan Territory, rising dramatically up to the west. As you rise up onto the foothills of Mount Diablo, it's kind of an incredibly gorgeous place.
The trail system here is a work in progress, so don't hesitate to use cattle trails to find shade as you walk along the creek.
The cattle are seeking the path of least resistance, so as fire roads are designed for vehicles, cattle trails are designed for animals, and they turn out to be the better trails through the canyon, staying in the woods and in the shade a lot more. Once you start seeing cattle trails veering off from the main fire road, only a fool wouldn't take them, and eventually they'll be made more permanent on maps as a part of the single track trail system.
Bicycles are a good option for the Valley Loop, but are not allowed on the Hardy Canyon Trail. Horses are welcome on all the trails. Dogs are not allowed anywhere in the preserve to protect kit foxes from possible infection with diseases such as canine distemper. Now it's up to you. You can hang out along Marsh Creek, do the Hardy Canyon Loop for 5 up and down miles, or the Valley Loop for 6 or fewer, mostly flat miles. Or you can do all 3, play in the creek, climb up over the ridge, and circle the valley for a total of about 8 miles. The next stop for all 3 options is segment 2, Marsh Creek. It's about 100 yards south of the staging area and just ahead.